I just finished recording an episode earlier on, and everything wiped out. So I have to record this one again, which is kind of really, really annoying and you know painful. But I have to say what I said again. Now, first thing is I am back. Yeah, I made a promise that I was going to show up. I was going to commit to publishing, but I disappeared when the world needed me most. Now I'm back, and I'm back for good. Now I do not expect you to believe me, and so in order to earn your trust back, now to get you to believe me, I'm going to publish a podcast episode every day for the next 30 days. After which, we'll go back to publishing bi-weekly, which is publishing a podcast episode every week. Now, first, I want to address the fact that sometimes I used to feel that I needed everything. I needed to have certain tools in order to become a better writer. Same thing with podcasting. I needed to have certain tools in order to become a better podcaster. But the truth is, I have all that I need to do what I need to do. I have all the resources that I need to create what I need to create. Now, having software, having tools, having all those things, that's great. That's awesome. But they say it's a bad workman that blames his tools. Yeah. If you really know how to do this stuff, you'll be able to get it done. Yes. And that's true for me. Now, I would be trying on experiments. I'll be testing things, and I'll be publishing a podcast episode every day at 4 p.m. West African time. Now, why am I doing this? First is to get the flow of podcasting, to grasp the concept and to be serious about it. Second, it's to force me into writing and being serious with my writing life. Now, not as a way of excuse, but to address certain things and the reasons why I have not been serious with the podcast and writing as a writer personally, as a person on a personal level, is I feel that my writing is not good enough, so I don't write, and because I don't write, my writing never gets good enough for me to write, and so it's an infinite cycle that if you are in that cycle, you might end up never writing a word in your life. And all you'll be wishing for will be someday, it's gonna happen. Same thing with podcasting. I don't really have any sources, any secrets or anything to show. And so because of that, I don't podcast. And then I'm like, wait, dude, you have to participate in the craft independently, irrespective of what it shows and what it gives and what it speaks of. And so removing the fact that when I get subscribers, when I get listeners, the goal now is ask yourself, how can you benefit inherently from the craft, from the work of art? So that way you won't have to wait for views, for listens, for counts. Every episode you release will be a benefit to you in itself. Now, of course, doesn't it mean that you don't have to create stuff for other people that doesn't involve you? Yeah, yes, but we want to make the art, the practice of the art itself rewarding. That way we won't have to seek for another reward. Now, having views, having listeners, having all those things will be great, will be fantastic. I love that. But in order to create a system that allows you that encourages, that entertains the possibility of having listeners, of having viewers and downloads of podcasts and all those numbers, you have to create an art. And you can only create an art if you enjoy the art itself. And so this podcast will be a way for me to collect my thoughts, gather and synthesize my research, and also document what I am trying and what I am doing as a writer. And for those of you that have been listening all those why to my podcast, I really, really, really do appreciate that. And thank you so much for being there. Yeah, thank you so much for being there. It's been a long, long ride. Um, Once again, my name is Oyemichi Nwakonam, and I'm the host of Buildwriting podcast. Now, for in the next episode that'll be coming out, I will do a detailed introduction, detailed breakdown of what will be coming out in the podcast. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Now, I would want to encourage you to follow or subscribe, depending on whatever it is that's on the platform that you're listening to audio. Also, I want to encourage you to leave a review for the podcast. And leave a review for the podcast. And every day at 4 p.m. West African time, I will be releasing an episode. Now, if you, it would be nice for you to join my tribe to subscribe to my newsletter. Now, why should you even subscribe to my newsletter? Yeah, every week I send in thoughts. Yeah, thoughts I have about writing. Every week I send it out to my subscribers, people who are in the email list. Yeah, I don't spam people. I know even spammers will say that they don't spam people, but you can always unsubscribe anytime. Just subscribe. Yeah. So you go to buildwriting.com/newsletter and you'll be able to subscribe. And if you want to send me a message and get it featured on the podcast, that would be great. You can go to buildwriting.com/speak. You'll be able to click on the appropriate button to do that. Thank you so much. I do hope you have a nice and wonderful day or night, depending on when you're listening to the podcast.